Hello and welcome to the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series live on ApexRacingTV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me this evening is Marco Barbonet, and we are here at the glorious Monza circuit, a place of long straights, many a chicane, and a classic GT circuit as well, Marco. I certainly know that this place is in the Blancpain GT Series, of course, and it's got a great history of GT3 racing.
Absolutely. Buonasera a tutti, buonasera Sam. Can you tell I'm excited? Benvenuti a Monza, and as per usual, it's going to be the, I wouldn't say happier, but crazier version of me in the boot tonight. Every time we are in Italy, I'm so happy, and this track, like you said, the home of the Blancpain series, European Le Mans series, always comes here every season. We used to have WEC also in the past. Certainly, the International GT Open also comes here with their GT3 cars. So yes, this is certainly a track well known in the world for the Formula 1 Grand Prix, but GT cars are definitely at home, and that is what's going to happen tonight with this 1 hour race, the penultimate round of the season, before the final traditional 75-minute season-ending round that will be held in Brands Hatch for Season 4. All the championships are decided, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have fun. In fact, we have had a lot of fun all season long, I have to say. And I think this is going to be one of the crazier rounds, especially because of the way this track works, with the long straights, the chicanes. I think we might see the draft finally coming into play in a big way.
Yeah, I've kind of been waiting for a few of these races. Usually that draft effect isn't too strong, and actually in recent rounds we've seen overtaking extremely difficult. Certainly Zolder was very difficult to overtake round, and the last circuit we visited, which was Mosport, of course, it was relatively difficult to overtake round there as well, but round here should be a bit more simple. Big braking zones, because, well, you're at a very high speed, going into some very slow corners. As Marco was saying, the championships have been decided in the Gold Championship. Martin Van Liesdorf, he sewed it up a couple of weeks ago. He's actually got double the amount of points of second-place driver Marcel Vanderlyn. It's still second place, very much up for grabs, with the in-form Ruben Van Buell there in third. But Ivan Connecton hasn't done the previous 5 rounds. He's still up in fourth place, though, in the standings in that, and also Bod Boland is in fifth, but very close just behind that. In the silver category, I wasn't 100% sure during the interviews last week, but it has been confirmed to us that David Witzbold is the champion once again. Big lead, only won 4 out of the 10 races so far this season, but he's been ultra consistent apart from that. Only 2-0 scores, and when you take into consideration the couple of drop rounds that these drivers get, and also the pole positions he's got as well, he's got a comfortable lead in the championship. Jeremy Hessels and Steve plays a close second and third. And in the Bronze Championship, David Fuller is leading the way and has won that championship as well, ahead of Ben Thames, because Thames couldn't win last week at Mosport because he wasn't around. Dries Moody and Thijs Berg relatively close behind. Also Scott Malcolm as well, rounding out the top 5. So, Marco, whilst the championship win is over, you can see in all 3 classes it's very close for second place.
Absolutely, it's going to be solved between this week and next week. Not of wording about the paints. I'm trying to solve the issues. Some paints are not showing, and I have no idea why. So please bear in mind while during practice we try to solve this very new issue, as we have a view on the drivers as they are taking. I'm not seeing David Fuller, by the way, so I think he extended his vacation apparently. knowing that the title was in the bag. And we have his teammate John Barr, who sadly has just gone into the wall. We have a McLaren in the field, and this, if you listen to the GT3 drivers from the official series, this is, and if you have seen the broadcast that on Apex we did a few weeks ago of the official Blancpain VRS GT Sprint Series, this is really the only track where the McLaren is the best car, So keep an eye on Luke Tice as he's coming out of the pits for LMD Racing. He might be one to watch, and it's always a thing of beauty to see that flamethrower on the end of the McLaren. Absolutely a thing of beauty. Nice to have a McLaren represented in the field.
Definitely, yeah. Monza and Le Mans. They're the only two circuits I can think of where the McLaren is the fastest car. Any ovals you try to do, the McLaren's again is going to be very fast, but it's not the best car in the world, it's safe to say. Thankfully so, because it's quite outdated, safe to say. Certainly bets for the more new cars to be the fastest. I believe the Rough is still a GT3 car, a converted GT3 car. Also the Ford GT2, which basically they just renamed it the GT3. And there you go, you've got another GT3 car. Thankfully, all those cars aren't very quick. They're not very prominent in the various series that this class is running. Instead, we see the BMW, which of course is used day after day in real life. Unfortunately, not. We desperately, I must say, Mike, I'm not a massive BMW fan. I don't really have any allegiance to them. I'm not a massive fan of GT3 racing, but I would love to see an M6. I think that is, of all the cars that we need, I think that's right up there.
Well, we got the M8, and that was sadly immediately thereafter retired from WEC competition. I don't know. I think they might still be going in IMSA, because that is where really the program has been started for the GT cars. So who knows? I think the M6 is there to stay for a bit more. So it will be great to have it. I have to be honest. You know the story, not that until the M8, all the other GT cars from BMW, Z4, the M6, they were GT3 cars converted into GT, so the opposite of what happens usually, and that is against the rules of WCFIA competition. So they could participate with a let's say a wild card in IMSA competition in GT, with the promise that they were not going to do Le Mans, despite the homologation. So when they did the M8, they had to start from GT, and it remained there. They never did a GT3 version of the M8, so that is why BMW all of a sudden started competing at Le Mans, but that lasted basically only 1 year and a half, no? So that was the last outing, the one we had in the 24-hour race a couple of weeks back. So, but I hope that the car continues. I don't think it's viable as a GT3 car. I think it's very, very expensive and very big, a nightmare for the BOP. But the M6 is absolutely a fantastic car, and I really wish to have it in iRacing as well. The Z4 is really old.
Well, I certainly agree with Robert Lundgren when he says the Bentley Continental GT3, also the Aston as well. We desperately need. Go back to the V12 as well. Was it the Vantage or something? I realise it's out of date, but it's better than nothing. And after that, of Aston Martins, that's a one.
Time to go racing with qualifying, as
Yeah.
I hope Sam can still hear me, because I was in the process of updating the paints and my computer almost exploded, as we see the traditional train of cars coming out This is the latest paint pack I got from the Google Drive, so hopefully all the deliveries are there. I don't know what was going on earlier. And let's go, of course. Drafting, important around here. In qualifying, it will be crucial for the teammates. I can already see the Meraki boys coming from the high of the Mosport round, trying to get one after the other. As you can see, not this one, apparently, but the other Meraki drivers, I saw them coming out of the pits almost together. You see Tom Metherell, Chris Moretta, there's a car in between them. But I think, yeah, this is Iwan Marshall. Let's see how it goes. And let's keep an eye on the bottom of your screen, 10 minutes. You will see the lap times updating in real time, and on the left side of your screen, the standings in real time with the gap as soon as laps go in. I'm also expecting a lot from the BMW, Sam, in this race.
So you're expecting a lot from the BMWs?
I'm expecting, them to be quick,
Yeah.
I mean, we said a lot of bad things about the BMW. Now let's say a good thing about the BMWs, and that is that they are quick, good on the brakes, and this track, has straights and hard braking zones. So keep an eye on Ruben van Buell in his number 48. Sadly, we haven't seen much of his brother Stein van Buell this season. They made quite the dynamic duo with the brothers, I hope, running, or I suppose running with the same car and similar livery, identical livery of course. As, yes, the first drivers are starting their flying laps. Who is going to be the first to go? I think Ian Roots. Yes, let's go on board with him.
Awesome, heading down into turn 1. See the car slow on the inside. It's so difficult to find yourself a gap, but Roots, who's only had 1 point scoring finish so far this season, quite remarkably. But well, now that he has scored some points, he will be very pleased about that. He is definitely a gold driver. He's definitely gold standard. Just so many 11th and 12th so far this season. It's been quite remarkable, his bad luck. Over this next curve, of course, the first one so much more shallow than the second. And then, of course, the Lesmo is really the only non-chicane parts of the lap, along with the Parabolica. And, of course, around this second Lesmo, you can run so wide, dip a wheel onto the gravel. Don't want to pick up a 1x there, that would invalidate the lap time. And you can see Roots just picking his spots as he navigates around this circuit, just to see what the length is. So I can quote that, 5.79 kilometers is this racetrack. I think that's about 3.6 miles, something like that. As Roots just runs a little bit wide on the entry to Ascari, and annoyingly for him, Mark, maybe if he just nailed this lap, he may have got a bit of a slipstream from the cars ahead, but he's not going to quite catch in time.
No, I don't think so. As the first drivers are coming home, I think the first one will be Sebastian Eberer to set a 47.0. Here comes Van Loosener, 46.1. Metherell and also Lewis Ward together. Ward is so close to Martin Van Loosener, 0.70. Let's see the boss of the championship. He goes in P8, 47.1. By the way, quick note about the weather. It is a nice day in Italy. It is 25 degrees in the air, 33 on the track. How I wish it was like this right now. But it's not. We have around 15 degrees more, especially where I live. And yeah, I would literally, pay money to have a day like this right now. I know that for you, 25 degrees must be unbearably hot, but...
Oh, I would die. I would internally combust if I experienced that amount of day. No, it's been a lovely day in the UK. Just low 20s, high teens. Absolutely superb. Overcast. Lovely,
Wow.
Lovely overcast.
What is overcast? I mean, I have no idea what clouds,
anymore.
Clouds. I don't know about them anymore. Ben Thanes, bronze driver. That was not a quick lap. It was an out lap. Also, driver launching himself is Stuart Musuwa. Let's see if Lewis Ward can improve. He's so close to pole position. I think he's going to have the help of anyone. He's back after a bit. I think he has not been racing as of late. With after switching to his new team, Alpine Simsport. As he comes on the start-finish line, and he does not improve 0.2 behind his rival. Look at the amount of traffic on the front stretch. It's absolutely amazing. Who's also coming through? Luke Tice should be somewhere in there. Yes, at the Parabolica, which is not a Parabolica, but we call it
Is it
Parabolica.
not?
No, it's not.
What's a parabolica? Has it got to be symmetrical?
It has to be. It has to be. Well, first symmetrical, and second, it has to be with banking, and
Oh, okay, right.
it, it it has neither. You know.
It's
So
a nice name though, very
yeah.
memorable.
One thing that I really don't understand is how, in English-speaking, commentary, the retifilo has become the retifilio for whatever reason. I still don't know where that rogue I came through at the end of the word, because retifilo means is a very old way of saying straight, which now we say rettilineo, which means straight line, literally. But in the past we said retifilo, and in English it's Lewis Ward is in a dangerous position. He was pushing hard to get pole. As we follow Bot Boland, he has to set a fast time, little bit alone compared to the other Meraki drivers. But yeah, even in the original, in the official F1 game, you see David Croft, I think his name is, say retifilio.
Yes.
So, whatever.
Well, yeah, that's how I knew it actually. So clearly I've been brainwashed by the commentators. By the way, thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Nearly 30 viewers currently, and this is only qualifying. Trust me, it does get better than this. When the actual racing starts, the drivers start going side by side and start fighting one another. It is terrific if you've never seen a motor race before, but clearly you're enjoying qualifying as it is. And of course, we would super appreciate if you left a like on this video, subscribe to our channel, and also like to our Facebook page. Some absolutely fantastic memes currently going up on the Facebook page. Mark, I'm sure you've seen. You actually shared one of the memes, which I very much thank you for. Only one of two people. I think the other one was myself who shared some of the memes. But no, it's some absolutely terrific ones. Unfortunately, with the Facebook and Instagram dying today, some people may have seen, there was going to be another terrific one posted today, but unfortunately I had to delete it. But I might even post 2 tomorrow, which would be absolutely terrific.
I'm Italian, so I'm suspecting something going wrong. I don't want to say conspiracy theory, but I think it was done, to stop our meme machine, which is
yeah,
very
probably
unfortunate.
based on TV, isn't it? Probably done it to us.
Steve Claes should be somewhere. Still to set a fast time. He's using the draft of one of the Meraki boys. Let's go on board with him. Oh, David Fuller is here. So, out of nowhere, I don't think he was connected during qualifying. Let's see Steve Claes first. P10, great lap. Here comes David Fuller with an invalid lap. But, good to have him here. And now he has one final chance to bring home a valid lap. And, he has used us in having, always some fantastic starting position and fighting in the pointy end of the field. Sebastian Eberl doesn't improve. Here comes Chris Moretta in the Parabolica.
Yeah, currently in 15th position. Yeah, so always kind of around that 10th place margin. So actually recently has been a little bit higher than that. Of course, the top 5 last time out for Meraki Racing, but this time it's not actually an improvement. It's some 3/10 lower than his best time. Checker flag comes out, so Moritz will be able to complete that lap. William Bush, though, this is going to be it for him. Currently a respectable 23rd position for William, the silver driver, and now takes the shortest run to the line. He crosses the line, and that's a long way off. that. Oh no, so it was 3/10 off. But no improvement for him either.
Van Buel jumps to 5th, so good luck for him. Let's see who also we have Dries Mujdi running around, leading the bronze class as of this moment. And also you can see behind him David Fuller, so this will be probably a fight for the pole in bronze. I mean, expecting the good pace that David is having. Dries Mujdi coming home and aborting his lap, so here comes no one, because David Fuller aborts his lap, so he will start from the back. Tom Metherall, one last ditch, he aborts as well. Everyone is aborting. Let's see. Nick Schurmans, maybe he doesn't disappoint us. And he's improving in the 2nd and 4th of the 5 sectors of this particular racetrack, so he really could sneak into the top 10, and of course he's also fighting for the silver pole position. He's one position behind Steve Claes. Will he overtake his rival? He does, and gets a nice top 10 and the silver pole. Very last second. Here comes Chris Moretta with a lap time that does not improve. Thijs Berg, 3rd in bronze. Doesn't improve. And finally, Scott Malcolm, last but not least. He will finish in 31st. He will have several cars behind him, including the championship winner David Fuller, who wasn't able in 3 laps to get, sorry, in 2 laps plus, you know, the outlap, wasn't able to set a valid time. And now we wait, as per usual, for the session to switch over, and we shall give you the starting grid for this penultimate round of the season.
Yes, I remember all the drivers who got pole position in their respective classes do get a bonus 3 points. So that actually means that Nick Schurmans, by getting pole position, he draws level on points with Stephen DeWolf. Seeing that Schurmans has got 1 more win, 2 wins to 1, means that Nick Schurmans, just by qualifying, has moved up into 4th place in that championship. So the drivers are now gridding up, of course, on the run down to Esco, and the pole position is belongs to Martin van Liesnon. Less than 1/10 clear of Lewis Ward. Great to see him back, of course. Tom Metherall starts in 3rd with Andrew Hopley in 4th. Then it's Ruben Van Buel in 5th. Matthias de Tiege starts 6th with Seb Herbuer in 7th. Then it's Dion Phillips and Ewan Marshall rounding up the top 9, with Nick Schurmans top of the silver drivers, just ahead of Steve Claes. Expect a tight battle between those two. Claes trying to secure 2nd place in the championship currently. Marcel van der Linden starts in 12th, so a little bit further down than he usually is, but expect him to move up. He's usually very fast in the races. Ian Roots will be looking for more points from 13th on the grid. John Barnes starts in 14th with Jeremy Hessel's 3rd out of the silver drivers. Then it's Chris Moretta drives Moody, top of the bronze drivers, ahead of Stephen DeWolf, Gregory Franks, and Ben Mears rounding out the top 20. Behind that is Bod Boland with a very out of sorts qualifying from his perspective. Stuart Musselwhite is in 22nd with William Bush in 23rd. Then it's John McConville, Ronald Moons, Ben Thanes, Theisberg, Stephen Castrop, Lee Woodburn, and James Hobden rounding out the top 30. Then it's Scott Malcolm, Lee Deemer, Jochen Lennartz, and Luke Thies. Those were the drivers who set times, and we expect, well, we certainly hope Davey Whitballs will take the start.
He won't, unfortunately.
He won't. Okay. Kevin Boland hopefully will take the start, along with David Fuller and Ben Llewellyn.
Yes, just had an issue with his quick release mechanism on his wheel, and that also, I think, trying to make repairs created some collateral damage to his button box. So, well, if you want to have a problem, at the very least you want to have it when the title is already in the bag, no? So, bad luck for him, but it could have been, worse. And we are rolling, Sam. So we have a very, very nice field of cars. And let's see, Kevin Bolland right now is in the pits. One driver I'm looking at is William Bush, because if you remember, in the past couple of rounds he has had a lot of issues, and I think both times he was involved in some shenanigans in the first lap. So I really hope that he has a clean run. This is a track where he can really shine, and it's a track where, you know, the unpredictability of the racing can really lead to, you know, some good results from drivers who are maybe not used to stay at the front, you know. Pick your spots and a bit of luck here and there, and you could, you know, make some big gains.
Yeah, certainly half an opportunity for him, perhaps. Remember, watch that first corner. Anyone who's done official racing on iRacing knows that you can get a little bit messy into there. Hopefully, we won't see too much of an issue. I must say, a little bit of action would be fantastic going into that first chicane. Only one more round to go after this one. It'll be Brands Hatch next week. But for now, it is Monza. Round 11 of the DynamiXX Simracersworld GT Series. It's Martin van Loosenhout on the pole position, Lewis Ward alongside him, Methil and Hopley on the second row. And away we go. Van Loosenhout really holding it off for a while, and Ward will push into the lead. He maybe hasn't got the ideal line. It's Audi versus Audi. We might even see 3 wide with one of the Meraki drivers going down the inside, but Van Loosenhout really good on the bricks. Ward will maintain second place, and that was a good recovery after not a great launch so far. Not any spins, but now there is. We got
Wow.
an Audi round, and Moretta having to go off the circuit to avoid that one. That is John Barnes falling all the way down the field, seemingly.
Oh, some big wheel banging there as they enter as they enter the Curva Grande. But nice commentator's course straight away from you, Sam. And we are off to a great start. Looks like only one car was involved there, spinning around, you know, a little bit of contact. But, you know, in Monza, it is to be expected, I'm afraid, as I keep seeing drivers, you know, switching positions left and right. The usual craziness of the first lap, and now they will try to get somewhat in, you know, somewhat of a single file. Maybe try it. Oh, wow! Off in the wall is John McConville, and I think he has some. Oh, maybe he got away with it. You know, car seems to be fine.
Certainly lost a lot of positions though from it, lost about 10 places at least. Here is Stephen Kastrop. Good run round the outside there for Kastrop, and he gets it stopped for the Ascari chicane. Also got Herbruer just getting ahead of Sherman's, and Phillips getting ahead of DeTiege. So nice move there from Dion Phillips. He's up 4 places already. So fantastic start from his perspective. So we are going to go side by side now down the pit straight. DeTiege, maybe. Wow, who's got the better straight line speed, actually? Looks as though Phillips is just pulling away. DeTiege will try to keep his nose in there. But, well, Phillips had easily enough speed in the end to go round the outside. Also back to this one with Marshall losing out to Hessels. Very bad start for Steve Place, sorry. We hadn't really noted, we hadn't really mentioned how Steve Place has dropped way back.
Yeah,
but,
I saw
of
Steve.
Course he was second place.
I think he was the car that got turned in the beginning, because I saw him in the track map way behind, you know, the rest of the field at the very beginning of the race, at least in the first lap. So we might see the start from his perspective.
Yeah, it's pretty far up on the grid. And that whole right side of the grid didn't get a fantastic start. Usually it's that side that gets a really good launch because the pole sitter chooses when to go, but Van Loosenhout didn't get a fantastic launch.
Oh, that's the smallest of contact with the Team GB car. And yeah, luckily that did not involve the more cars, but poor Steve, good spot there, Sam. He is all the way to the back of the field. Not the start he was looking forward to.
I think it may have been John Barnes who he made contact with.
Mujdi going wide at the Parabolica and under pressure from Ben Thames for the lead in bronze.
Yeah, Danes takes that one along with Ian Roots, who hasn't had a particularly good start, but here comes Roots. He's going to try to get 2 in just a handful of seconds, but has to back out of it. Fantastic braking there from Danes, just as you were talking about, Marco. The BMW has such good braking, and that certainly came to his help there. But the Mercedes has very good straight line speed, and that will help Roots down this next straight through Herva Grande. But you know what, Dane's actually maybe just getting a waft of slipstream from the car ahead and will be comfortable into this second chicane.
Oh, mistake there from the BMW, is going wide. Here comes Roots, and here comes back into the lead Dries Mujdi. Things in Monza can change in a hurry, as you can see right now. As you see the amount of dirt being kicked in the air by these cars as soon as they go wide. And all that dirty stuff is going to be brought back onto the racetrack and, you know, make matters even worse for when you're trying to, you know, brake or, you know, turn your car in a precarious position. After a side-by-side start, seems like we have an issue. Oh dear, William Bush. Hopefully, just an off. I don't want to commentator curse him. Now a very, 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 very tricky rejoin. He lives to tell the tale. He lost several positions. He's back to where he started, P23. But at the very least, he can live to tell the tale. So I was saying, after a side-by-side start, seems like Van Loosenhoff is trying to pull away, and he's doing so. 1.7 in front of his closest rival as we go side by side between Phillips and the Zolder winner, Matthias de Tige.
The Excite Racing driver, easily down the inside. It's very risky to try to go down the outside, especially in the BMW, not particularly big and heavy and strong car. Now all of a sudden the Tige's under big pressure from Tom Metherell. Metherell started up in 3rd position, didn't get a particularly good start, but the 17 car now looking to the inside of his rival under the bridge. And that's very simple. So, yeah, once again, Michael, your point being backed up, things can change very quickly at Monza. Just a bad exit there, and all of a sudden went very southwards for him. And of course, just behind is Marcel van der Linden, who we kind of knew would be in this position relatively quickly, up 5 places from his start. And, well, he's got a chance at certainly a podium right now, because he's only 2.5 seconds off 3rd place, Andrew Hopley.
Yes, he's always a driver that shines the most in the race situation and not necessarily in qualifying. Is van der Linden, as he is trying now to get the best of the Tige at Ascari, a corner that you should know, having raced a lot of sports cars in your iRacing career, can be quite slippery, and it's surprising compared to the rest of the track how slippery that corner is, even with GT cars and traction control.
Certainly not feeling that is Marcel van der Linden. He goes down the inside padlock, getting a bit of a drift there. You can hear the tyres squealing. And certainly his exit not particularly good, but once again, that BMW is so tough with the racecraft, because you can actually see, if anything, he's losing time down the straight. Van der Linden with a bit of a slipstream from the car ahead, and nothing that de Tige could do there. Jeremy Hessel's just getting ahead of Bod Boland, I think, in the background.
Also, we got the news on the chat that Kevin Bolla is not racing tonight, sadly. As look at this pack of cars, Thanes, Muse, Castrop, almost 3 wide as they go into the Curva Grande.
Yeah, how that didn't end up in contest, not quite sure. Thane's doing a good job at the moment of defending. Will he go to the inside? No, yes, he will, eventually. But round the outside there, that could be a fantastic move. But he's off the circuit, and is there going to be contact? Going to be a slowdown, certainly, for Steve Castrop. Disappointing for him. Is he going to lose any more positions? He only lost out there to Ben Mears quite remarkably. I feel as though he's got to have a slowdown, surely. And
oh, wow.
Is he slowing down now? He's certainly going to lose a position to Dijsberg.
Look at everyone going wide there. Certainly risky business as they go into the chicane. Look at the speed of the Ferrari. Ben Mews, Otto McNaughton makes the move. Now, can he hold it on the backstretch? as they go into Parabolica.
Mias hasn't been running the Ferrari for the
No.
whole season, has he? No.
That's why we don't have his livery in. So that is a mystery I can solve. Usually the missing livery is a mid-season or late-season switch of the car. At the same time, we need to move up front because Van der Linden is getting past the Tige.
Actually, defending against the Teach, he got past the Teach a couple of laps ago, and that's not helping him too much. Did get a good exit. Of course, Benjamin Mears, it just popped him up to my mind, of course, that Mears won Season 2 of this championship in the silver category.
Yes.
Should be added. Just remember that first ever broadcast we did, myself and Chaz Jaycott as well. I think Sam Kuma may have also been broadcasting that one from Spa.
No, it was me, Chaz, and you.
Were you on the cameras?
Yes. Yes, I was.
Okay.
I think it was called amateur. They only had pro and amateur back then. And
Yeah.
after that season, they switched to the 3-class format we all know and
Which,
love.
by the way, was absolutely genius. Like it's pretty necessary because to divide the field into two types of drivers is impossible. And actually, the 3 classes works remarkably well. So very innovative thinking there from the organisers.
Ruben Van Bewley, that bad start. He lost 5 places from 5th down to 10th. He's trying to get past Nick Schurman, who took a very, 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 very wide exit from Ascari. That's a very bumpy section of the track. If you can go wide, it's okay, but it's very bumpy. You have to be super careful. And now we will be in the clutches of the BMW as we jump on board with Van Buel and this beautiful Jordan inspired livery from the early 90s. Back when I was just a little kid.
Yes, back when I wasn't born. Those were the days. Really not getting anywhere near to the Audi. Ooh, that's very deep on the brakes. I say I was racing this on another sim earlier on, and I must say, yeah, I wasn't particularly good around that corner, and that was a very easy mistake to make. Of course, iRacing releasing their artificial intelligence soon, and hopefully
Something
that'll
wrong
be
with
good.
Lydimer. I don't know what's going on. Trying to get an idea because he has stowed back to the pits. Here we go. He's coming to the Variante della Roggia. Braking under the bridge. All seems good. And all is not good here. I think he was sporting some kind of damage because, you know, from earlier laps because, you know, that was not certainly enough worthy of retiring.
No. Hopefully we'll see him back next week. You're still very close. This is the part of the circuit where you'd expect the BMW to be strong around the Lesmos. Maybe also through Ascari.
I think we lost Ben Llewellyn because he's already writing in the chat. So it's time to go back and see what happened to him. And I will work hard on that. Not going to be, you know how it works, no, Sam, in Monza. The chicanes are incident fest because of the massive deceleration. But I will get on top of this, I promise you.
Penalty for Lee Woodburn. DSW.
Driving standards warning.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for that. I was thinking it was drive through or something, when of course SW means through, but I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, so a few warnings given to John Barnes, Lee Woodburn, and Steve Clays. But no proper penalties.
Ben Llewellyn at the Variante Ascari. We said it is a very, very slippery corner. Those speed bumps can kill you, and exactly what happened. Yeah, be careful when you jump on those. They are, once again, there to kill you, those speed bumps. I almost flipped an LMP1 on one of those thingies, so gotta be super careful. Sadly, Ben Llewellyn, after his great performance in Mosport, will have to sit this one out very, very early part of the race.
Phillips versus Metherell. Phillips is through into 4th place. He's having a terrific run so far in this race as Dion Phillips. He was ahead on that start of this, that wasn't he? Also, Phillips then defending against Metal, apologies. Oh, and now off into the barriers, Dion Phillips, and that is going to be the end of his day. It was going terrifically for him, but then a freak incident down the back straight, and he's going to take no further part in this event, surely.
Strange crash. Let's go back on board. Maybe an hardware failure. So there was certainly contact, you know, with another car. Oh, no, I think, yeah. I mean, he didn't even try to correct. I don't know. Let's see from his onboard if, you know, the wheel had some issues or not, because that was a very strange crash. See, the steering wheel was very straight there, so...
Yeah, he's straying into the wall there. Yeah, quite unusual. Here comes Van der Linden picking up on the pieces. Is he going to be up into P4? Him versus Tom Methel. Methel might be able to stick around the outside there, but no. Van der Linden with far superior line. And he is up into 4th position. 8 places gained. And I did say how he might have a chance at a podium earlier on. He's got a very good shot at a podium now. Only got about 3.5 seconds to catch up to Andrew Hockley.
Yeah, the only thing I'm concerned for Van der Linden is that he's got some damage at the front of the car, and you know, you want to have the best aero efficiency possible when you are racing around Monza, so you know, that can also affect a bit your fuel consumption. But, for the moment, he seems like he's going to hold on nicely and trying to pull away, which is absolutely tough to do around here. I just heard the most beautiful sound in the world, which means I can turn on my air conditioning, because I was about to boil.
What was the noise?
The dishwasher finishing, because otherwise the electricity goes boom. I don't know if this happens in the UK, but in Italy we have to be careful. If we turn on too many appliances, you lose, you know, power, and that is not ideal when you're broadcasting.
No, quite. Van der Linden might be about to lose this position, and he has. Tom Methel back up into 4th place. He's been in the wars, it's safe to say. Was fortunate not to end up in a barrier just a couple of minutes ago. The Meraki Racing driver. But he's back up into 4th place. Van der Linden will now try to respond. He's 1/4 of a second behind, but I don't think he's going to be close enough going into the 2nd chicane. Still the siege, staying in there. Herbua having a good run. 7th place for him. Always a driver, you know, around kind of 8th to 12th, like I always say, but today doing a little bit better than that. And, yeah, has a chance at maybe his best results of the season.
Yeah, the leading Ferrari after the demise of David Whittables, and in front of Ben Musso, who is 15 bronze, and he has the best seat in the house, I have to say, for this fantastic fight. In front of him, Metherol with Van der Linden and the Tige, 2 Mercedes and 1 BMW. Look at Metherol trying to move as much as possible within the law to break the slipstream. By the way, the contact earlier, Dion Phillips racing, sorry, no further action, which I think is a good call, because that was a strange crash. Something must have gone very wrong. And now I'm feeling a bit, because for Andrew Hopley, because he's all alone and he's losing a lot of time, by the way. He lost half a second on the straight. I don't know if he has some damage. I saw him run wide just before the big crash of Dion Phillips, so we shall see. But
they are 2 seconds on that lap.
They are closing in a lot on him.
Half a chance there maybe for Tatish to stick it down the inside of Van der Linden as he ducks out of a potential move on Methel. This time he is closer. Last time he was 4/10 behind at this stage. A bit closer this time. Van Buell, has he just cut that corner perhaps? Certainly an unusual line taken by him. And yeah, this is quickly turning into the battle for the podium, because they are now only 1 second behind Andrew Hopley. Of course, a Meraki Racing driver. And Methel tried to hold back these drivers, but he's got to rely on his teammates to up the pace, because he's losing 10th after 10 Here comes Detige down the inside of Van der Linden. Van der Linden offline. Not too many marbles out there at the moment, but the grip decrease was enough for the BMW to take that position. And maybe I was a little bit too quick to assume that Marcel van der Linden was home and dry earlier on when I said he looked strong for a podium, because ever since then he's dropped 2 places.
And you know, we are in Italy, we are about to have the, I think, the quintessential truly train, because look at the amount of cars behind Andrew Hopley and they are all closing in on him. So now we have to see if he's able to keep his position, if he's going to let his teammate by, and how the cars behind him are going to react. Are they going to be able to pass him, or will we have a massive train of cars?
Oh, Van der Linden.
Oi.
That's another big slide for him. Seems to maybe just carry a little bit too much speed into that corner, maybe not comfortable with the rear wing. He's not going to be back into the slipstream of poor Matthias Detige, who just has been overtaken so many times so far today. Here comes Methil, and he's straight past Andrew Hopley. So some nice team games there, recognizing that Methil was faster, and now Van der Linden gets past Detige for the 3rd time in this race.
So, very strange drop of pace from Hopley. Let's see, this lap was, yeah, 1 second slower than Methil, but faster than Van der Linden. So, maybe it was just, you know, a matter of, you know, getting, you know, closer to his teammates so they could push together. We shall keep an eye on Hopley's times and see what we see in terms of, you know, time responses. In the back you see Van der Linden and the Detige using everything, like all of the track, the runoff areas, to stay, you know, pedal to the metal, trying to keep the gap with these guys. One surprising thing, even though, yeah, he started from way back, but David Fuller is not the leader in your bronze class. He is actually in second. The leader is Dries Mujdi, and Dries Mujdi is a bit in front. He is here. He's already heading to the Ascari. So if he wants to win this round after his long vacation, I know, understandably, he might not be at his best after the tough vacation he just had. But you know, he will have to work a lot, and Dries Mujdi is certainly a very, very quick driver, and he has a decent advantage. So it's not going to be easy for him, for David to get, you know, past him, get even close to him.
To 36 degrees track temperature, 25 degrees air temperature currently. As we go, yeah, a little bit further back to Steve Clays. He's trying to have a move. Also, William Bush defending currently against John McCon. No, sorry,
David Fuller.
David Fuller. Apologies, Fuller. Bit of an unusual line coming out of Parabolica. Also got McConville right on their tails. Is McConville going to be able to go for him even this Simracersworld car? Just ahead, overtake by Clays, although he maybe has just missed the chicane, just about makes it. Fuller gets ahead of Bush, but not a good exit now, and Bush might actually have the ideal line, because around the outside at Curva Grande gives you the inside line for the 2nd chicane, although of course a slightly shorter route for the driver on the inside. Bush really strong on the brakes. He's going to try to keep himself in there though. Fantastic racing between the two of them, but in the end it actually could turn out to be 2 positions lost for David Fuller.
Fantastic views of the trees. This is a bit better, I'd say. You can have an idea of what's going on, and you know, at the same time I'm looking at the times, and seems like Meteorol space and Hopley's pace has picked up. It has not picked up, because Hopley is still being a bit slower than his teammate and of the cars in front of him, behind him, sorry.
Issue for no, so I thought that was an issue for Ian Roots there, but no, he's okay.
Yeah, he got passed by Steven de Wolf after getting past him, so an overtake that has not worked, as we move. Let's see what's going on there in that battle.
We never realised that Hessel's got past Sherman's, by the way. That is for the silver class lead. I'm not sure when that happened, but Jeremy Hessels, who started only 3rd place in the silver drivers, he's up into 11th place overall. He's 4/10 of a second ahead of Nick Sherman. So Hessels, who's currently fighting for 2nd place in the championship, having a very good run of it at the moment. And Sherman's, meanwhile, he was running as high as 9th position, I believe, in the early stages, not doing that anymore. This is how Hessels got it done.
Using that Meraki Audi as a pick, like they say in NASCAR, and making the move very nice.
Now it's Ewan Marshall. They were stuck behind. Marshall has since pulled away. Hopley loses out to Van der Linden now. So Hopley was unable to stay in the slipstream of his teammates, and now has dropped behind Van der Linden as well. We're still only 1.96 seconds. I must say, Mark, I can't remember the field being quite so evenly matched. You look at those drivers from probably 3rd position down to about maybe 10th, and they're all so evenly matched. It kind of shows, well, yeah, it's a bit unusual around this Monza circuit.
You know, that's why we love this championship. You know, it's the fact that up and down the field we are seeing fights for every position. Doesn't matter if it's for the overall lead, if it's for the class lead, or other positions in the class. Each driver is putting their own out on the racetrack, despite all the titles being decided. And everywhere we look, we have a fight going on, and it's actually tough to pick which one we show on camera. As Opley, by the way, has went in front of Van der Linden again.
Oh, Van der Linden, though, this would be some move if he can pull this off. He's over the curb, and is he going to lose the momentum? And here comes Matthias de Teege. Van der Linden's overtaken de Teege 3 times so far in this race. He may have to overtake him a 4th, because de Teege going into the second Lesmo, fantastic from Van der Linden, almost off the circuit. Well and truly was off the circuit there. Now that Mercedes grunt, but maybe the aero damage on that bonnet just hindering him. Also slipstream, they are neck and neck going into a Ascari, but far better line for Marcel Van der Linden. Now is so much the circuit, and well, I'm not sure if that counts as an overtake. He was momentarily behind, but well, we could just watch these two go at it, and it would be a fantastic race.
I was just about to ask you how many times did they pass each other. You read my mind, as Van Buell is trying to, and goes past Bot Boland. With another Meraki car that is Ewan Marshall behind him. And I don't think that the fight between Van der Linden, de Teege and Opley is over at all.
By the way, nice job from Bot Boland. He was up 13 places at one point before getting overtaken by Ruben Van Buell. But well and truly with this one, and actually Ruben Van Buell is going to be in this one as well. Great news for Tom Metcalfe. He's now 2.5 seconds clear of this pack. As here comes de Teege again.
By the way, the pit window is open. Ian Ruth's the first to go in together with Iceberg.
Not looking too good for East to get some points today after a disappointing start. It's Scott Malcolm, I believe. Supporting a new livery as well is Malcolm. I didn't download the paint pack, so I do not know how it looks.
It's always the same Team Mad, blue and grey livery, which we love from, and we learn to recognize from many series. I remember the Porsche livery was racing back in the good old days of the BSR Porsche Sundays. What a fantastic series that was.
Still half happening. Unfortunately, we don't broadcast. I don't think it's quite the same as it used to be. Hopefully, we'll be able to do something similar in the future. Certainly need something on a Sunday night on ApexRacingTV.
I mean, now that we have now that we have also Fridays occupied, we well. So if you want to broadcast your series on a Sunday night, let us know.
I remember the good days of Apex Racing TV broadcasting the IMSA Sports Car series at about 5 o'clock on a Sunday
I
evening.
remember that. I
That was
absolutely
my
remember that.
first exposure to Apex Racing TV. Actually, I think if it weren't for that, I probably would have never joined their team.
Well, the first broadcast I watched on Apex was an IMSA race here, on this particular racetrack. Sam Kubo was the
Ah.
commentator. And I remember there was a massive wreck between the Porsche Cup cars in the first corner, and my teammate Michele Ricci was the victor in that particular race. Basically, the only one that was able to escape the carnage in the first corner.
Michele was a legend in the GTC
Yeah.
cars. Won many a season title
Oh.
as Van der Linden. Has an issue.
A slowdown,
Has
I
a
think.
slowdown, and well, that is now
Ooh.
3 times that that Detij has overtaken Van der Linden, and 3 times that Van der Linden has overtaken Detij. And here comes Ruben Van Buell as well, out of nowhere, and straight past the Mercedes. And well, Marcel Van der Linden, a fantastic season for him, but today has been a struggle.
Going back to I think that was the one and only season that the Porsche Cup car was in the IMSA series, and that season Michele won the overall championship. So one and done, no one can take the title away from him. And I always, and I remember, yes, watching the broadcast, and that was the first time I watched, because I remember on Sundays we would watch the broadcast, and Michele was more often than not in that particular race. Oh!
Oh! Well,
That looked interesting.
I mean, he's been struggling with that corner all day long with oversteer through the parabolica. And I think it happened again.
Oh yes. Well, I thought he went there, a bit because of frustration, but no. It was all sorts of sideways, though. And it was almost impossible, Sam, to recover the car. Yeah, I didn't see him at first that he came in too quick, but watching the replay, he was certainly a bit too quick for the Parabolica. And yeah, we lose one of the protagonists of this race, sadly, as Marcel van der Linden is heading for the pits, and I would guess for some very, very, very long repairs.
Well, he's now quit the server, so unfortunately we're not going to see any more of him today. That's now his 5th non-score of the season and his 2nd in a row after that first lap crash at Mosport last time round. Ranks versus De Wolf. De Wolf, 3rd place out of the Silver Drivers. He is about 10 seconds off the race lead in the Silver Drivers. Jeremy Hessel's leading the way there, ahead of Nick Sherman's, as it has been for a while. Just looking at it, the gap between 4th place Andrew Hopley and 9th place Ewan Marshall, about 3 seconds currently, ever so close amongst those
They
drivers.
are basically spread all around the Parabolica, these guys you just mentioned. Martin van Loosenhoorn, as we are already in the second half of the race, is having a nice Sunday drive in the Italian countryside. He is 8.88 seconds ahead of Lewis Ward, who is 8.88 seconds ahead of Tom Methrel. So the top 3 evenly balanced right now. As Nick Schurmans is having some issues together with Jeremy Hessels. I suspect there has been some contact in there. So here we go. Or maybe not, because they were very spread out. So let's see what happened there. Maybe... Oh, break.
Oh.
Ah, dear.
Well, I feel say that might be investigated. I mean, Nick did everything he could to stay behind, but yeah, has caused a bit of damage to the car ahead. Unusual to see that, because the BMW is so good on the brakes. For the Audi to get caught out by the very quick braking, quite a surprise.
But you know, Sam, you know, if I can say something, sometimes it's so easy to get distracted.
Yeah.
And in Monza, if you miss your braking marker by just an inch, you are way off on your braking point, and the braking distance gets exponentially bigger and bigger. And so, you know, maybe it was, you know, getting ready for his pit stop, or, you know, talking with a teammate. Sadly, these are things that happen, and of course the stewards will have to, you know, watch past that, of course, because you, in any case, caused a problem for your opponent. The Wolf now defending on the inside, Ranks still trying to get past him, but no, to no avail. That BMW is very quick and of course goes to the pits.
Also, Sherman's into the pits.
Yes, here he is, and yeah, no one else. But I think we are getting closer and closer to pit stop time. Van Buel on a comeback needs to get, once I think, at least go back to where he started, which was P5. He is sitting in P7, about to jump into P6, as he has the inside line on Sebastian Ebert. Look how much bigger the Ferrari is, I just noticed, compared to the BMW.
Hubbard not defending into the first Lesmo. Easy for Ruben Van Buel. Nice recovery. Did drop down to 10th position, I believe, earlier on after a very disappointing start. Up into the top 6 now is the BMW driver, and I was a bit skeptical of the performance of the BMWs when Marcus said that they'd be very strong, but I stand corrected. You got Hopley, De Tiege, and Van Buel 4th, 5th, and 6th currently.
I am on a roll, Sam, after the big prediction in the Euro V8s, which you also made a video of, which, you know,
I did.
I feel honored about that.
We got to get it on record after all.
Let's see we see in front of them. We had Opley use all of the exit room at Ascari, bouncing hard on the runoff area, and I think this will give the Tige a good run. BMW versus BMW, 3 different teams: Meraki, Simracersworld, and Buell Racing. And look at Opley going all the way to the wall, trying to defend. And I think that the Tige will have to settle for the outside. Great run from the Tige on the outside.
Just a little bit behind. Constantly behind, and never quite had that overlap. But this is going to be a fantastic exit. And here we go for Matthias De Tiege. And, well, round Curva Grande, he's going to have the longer routes. Not going to be easy, this one. But De Tiege, he was so patient, remember, earlier on. Sure, he did have to overtake Van der Linden a few times, but he was very patient all the while. He's not being patient here, looking for the inside everywhere. But fantastic defense right now from Andrew Hopley. And he's also helping out his teammate currently.
Oh, Andrew, no!
Oh, and into the wall goes Andrew Hopley, the Meraki Racing driver. It was looking so good for him. A fantastic performance. Was up in 3rd place for much of the race. And he is back into the pits.
Wow. That was... I think he opted on a curb, on a speed bump. Let's see. And that upset his car. He had that orange speed bump. Then he went with 2 wheels on the gravel. And that made the crash, sadly. And... man, these chicanes are full of troubles, hidden troubles. Look at the damage there. That car is done for the day, unfortunately.
Driving standards warning for Nick Sherman's for that incident that we saw earlier on when he made contact with Jeremy Hessels, and I think that's a very good call from the stewards. Certainly not intervening any more than is necessary. So, that's promoted everyone up now. You know, silver lining for this, it looks like Ian Roots is going to score a point today, which should be only the 2nd time this season, because you got the top 9 gold drivers, and you got a massive gap back to Ian Roots because so many of them have crashed out. So then you got Roots and Barnes, who had a very troublesome start, and then all the other bronze gold drivers. 4 of them have retired from this race, and all very good drivers. Moretta, Phillips, Hopley, and Van der Linden, along with Bush, McConville, Daines, Thies, Hobden, Diemer, Llewellyn, Malcolm, and I'll say Malcolm and Castrop are still going, but all those other lots all had to come into the pits and are out of the race.
Yeah, many drivers in the pits right now. Eberer, Marshall, Mujdi, Ranks. All 4 of them have come in, and actually, Ian Roots is trying to get past Steven the Wolf. They are entering the Parabolica. See Ian using all of the slipstream. His teammate Musselwhite is behind. Oh wow! Oh dear!
Oh. Well, I always think, how does that not happen more often? And we very nearly saw a big crash there. Roots gets it stopped. He kind of makes an extra chicane for himself though, and that's going to be a poor exit. Who is that just behind? It is Stuart Musselwhite now, and he's going to try to get past Roots. Is Roots going to get a bit boxed in here? No. Inside, outside, will he go for the dummy? You're not really going to find your way around there, Ian. Nice defense from the Wolf, who is third in the silver drives, but was hoping for a penalty for Sherman's earlier on. Didn't come though, just a warning for Sherman's. Still wants to protect that podium.
Let's see if we can get a look from on board. That was Dries Mujdi coming out of the pits. Oh man!
He kept his foot in, didn't he?
Yeah. Louis Ward, Martin van Loosenhoord, Metherol, De Tige, Essels, Boland, everyone is in. Some of them are already out. Van Buel to the provisional lead of the race. Look at the amount of cars. You can see at the left side of your screen, and on the bottom you can follow their pit stop times that are, right now doing their mandatory. So not mandatory, but if you want to finish the race, I think you would better, have a running the pit. So after these, see Moonso, Woodburn, Muse, David Fuller. So lots and lots of drivers in there, and I think this group here still has to stop. Let's see. No, they have stopped all of them. So those drivers that are in the pits right now are the last of the drivers we are waiting for. The only one who has not pitted yet is our race leader, Ruben van Buel. Oh, some contact there. I will love a split screen for this race. There are so many battles I would like to show right now. Let's focus on this, because this is also involving, the Wolf and Musselwhite, which are both in the silver class, and Dries Mujdi, the leader of the bronze class right now. And Dries Mujdi, I think it's a bit quicker than these guys, but he has been boxed in as Van Buel goes in, and Steve Fuller, who has done his pit stop, has let Steve Clays go by, but he's not that far away, so Mujdi really needs to hope that this traffic jam solves itself, because otherwise he will be, in a bit of a slow part of the slow-moving snake of cars, and he could be under pressure from Fuller in a bit.
Yeah, and watch out for Clays as well, because Clays will set his sights on Moons, Mias, Musselwhite. He might even get to Wolf by the end of this race. He's going to have to be pretty quick. I might be maybe predicting a little bit too much from Steve, but he's certainly very quick, and is going to be faster than these guys, but has got about 15 seconds to make up in the remaining. How long have we got? 42 minutes so far, and then so 17 and a half minutes to go. I guess you viewers can see the time anyway, so that was a bit pointless for me to say, but still a bit of time for Steve Clays to make up that gap. We go back to this one, Moons and Clays. Oh, sorry, Moons and Mias, apologies. Mias not putting up too much of a fight, seemingly, the 222 car. Moons not properly committing, and despite the fact that Mias outbraked himself, didn't cost him anything. If anything, it was a very good defense. Stopped Moons on the apex, and looks good to hold on to that position through Curva Grande.
So, a recap of the situations after the pit stops in each of the classes, and of course on the overall standings. So you will see now only the class positions. Let's start. Muse is wide, and he loses the... So overall, race leader Martin van Loosenhoord, you can see him sitting in first. Louis Ward is in second. Tom Methrol is in 3rd. Matthias de Tige is in 4th, and 5th is Bod Bolan. This is also for the overall class, not only the gold drivers. In silver, Jeremy Essels is enjoying the lead in front of Nick Schurmans, and there is not a lot of gap between the two of them. 3rd is Steven de Wolf, who is the leader of this pack here, and he's still trading positions with Ian Roots. Muscle White in 4th, and Ronald Moons trying to come back. Oh, Benjamin Muse! And this time I think he got it to the wall. Yes, he did. Maybe one of those speed bumps again. Already claimed...
Oh, no, just the tiniest bit of grass, wasn't it?
That is a classic crash in that particular section of the racetrack, by the way. You can, you can, go and take it, as wide as possible there at the Ascari when you come out. But the lap you get it wrong, you really get it wrong. So you either crash on the right or on the left. Driz Mujdi, leader in the bronze class, as you can see on your screen, 12 seconds in front of David Fuller, who is enjoying some slipstream from Steve Clace in the silver class. Thijs Berg, 3rd. Lee Woodburn is sitting in 4th, and Scott Malcolm in 5th. So I was thinking the other day, remember I told you that I was in a, as Fuller gets back past Clace, remember that I told you I was in a Ferrari GT3 fixed race against Lee Woodburn, no? And we started on the same row, and then he pulled away, no? And I was thinking to myself, but Lee's a silver driver, so and now I realize he's a bronze driver. So imagine how slow would I be in this championship. And Lee Woodburn is no slouch because he's in the top 5 of bronze, so he's a good driver. But imagine me, I would be classified as a bronze, no? But maybe they should give me the wood, classification.
You really are in a league of your own.
Yeah. I don't know if you say this in English, but in Italy you say when you finish 4th at the Olympics you get the wood medal. I don't know if you say the same in England.
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay, that's why I said I would deserve the wood class instead of the bronze. Because it's the first of the guys out of the podium, so he gets the very, very ironic and worthless wood medal.
I was very disappointed to find out that, I say I was very disappointed, but there's not much gold in a gold medal.
Yeah, it's very, very little.
Very little.
It's, it's all cosmetic, it's a bronze medal with a coat of gold on the outside.
Did you see, sorry for going off topic, but breakdancing is going to be a sport in the 2024 Olympics.
No, well, I mean, I cannot say, this should be in, that should be out. I mean, the only thing I say that, they are getting so many sports in, they should really get the darts. I think it's the only, it's the only aiming sport that is not in the Olympics. It's a relatively, easy tournament to set up. You don't have to spend big to build stadiums. You just need a whole.
Well, you just need a pub, don't you? Really?
Oh, really? A pub, yes.
You're done. But would any of the darts players actually turn up for it?
I
would it
think
be like golf when none of the pros actually turn up?
We tried. We as a movement. We are always trying with different degrees of effort to get darts into the Olympic. As Van Lusner goes wide into the Olympic scene, it's a very sport that is doing very, very well as of late. But the Olympics would be the icing on the cake because it would really give the final step of recognition that the sport I think deserves. So yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future. Muscle White now, after Roots went past the Wolf, trying to get past the uniquely colored DynamiXX BMW, which he has several teammates, but none has that very unique kind of car. You can see Steven, of course, a real life driver, as you see the Tish going wide. What do we have here? Eberer and Marshall. And good run from Marshall. That is the only like big fight we have on the track right now, with 12 minutes left. And I have
Why
to say,
did Van Buell drop down? Sorry.
why did Van Buell drop down? Because he
And
pitted.
why did... But he was in 5th place earlier on, wasn't he?
He started in 5th, then he dropped to 10th.
But then he got back up to 5th, I think. I'm pretty sure, or maybe 6th, but he was definitely ahead of Bod Boland. And I've completely just unrecognized.
I will get on top of that.
5th place. Thank you. I mean, I should have really been following it myself. And it's taken me about 5 laps since the... it's been more than 5 laps. It's been about probably 10 laps since the pit stops for me to actually notice that Bod Boland is up 16 places from his start. We haven't paid too much attention to him, but a fantastic drive from him. Hasn't been the perfect season for Bod. Got involved in a couple of collisions so far this season. Donington was very notable, where he was fighting for a podium before crashing in probably the penultimate lap of the race. But today, certainly a much better performance after a very underwhelming qualifying for him. Also, my favourite parts of the broadcast, as anyone is, looking at the incident points. Yay! Tom Mettle is on 17 incidents. Remember, they got a 25 instant limit cap. As he gets to 25, you are disqualified. Steve Clays is on 23, so he's got to be watching that. William Bush is on 20. I think he's out of the race, and that's pretty much everyone who's on the limit. Also, David Fuller's on 16, but really, anyone who's under 20 doesn't have to worry about stuff too much. So really, just keep an eye out on Steve Clays. Might explain his recent lack of pace, having to make sure that he doesn't pick up any more off tracks.
So I was looking at the incident viewer, and there is nothing happened. He went into the pits from the lead at the regular pit stop, came out, he had no crash, nothing, no off tracks. So yeah, I think his pace has not been that good. I mean, maybe he gained those positions thanks to the pit stops, but apart from that, it has been regular race with no issues. I mean, no crashes or off tracks or no penalties in the pits for Van Buell.
Right. Okay.
I see that Stuart Bardelman is already getting ready for the darts at the Olympics.
I mean, if Ian's face was like the I want to say the bullseye, you get a lot of points for, don't you? If that was there, then I'm sure he would become a gold medalist.
But you don't get the most points with the bullseye, so...
I thought you got them... Really?
No.
Aye.
Here comes Musselwhite. This is for 3rd place in class. All a little bit too deep at the chicane, and he will have to try again in the next couple of laps, I think. If he wants to get on the podium at the same time, Eberer and Marshall. Are they closing in on Bod Boland? Lap times are more or less the same. So, see, Davy Whittables. He placed against Daryl Fitton. So, he knows what I'm talking about.
So Seb Herbuer still defending against Ewan Marshall. This one's been going on for a while, safe to say. And Van Buell is getting himself in there. Hopefully we'll have a chat with Ewan, because I'm very perplexed with what happened to him. I think it was just, he appeared 1 lap later. I think that was just like maybe the worst lap of his life. Maybe just didn't set a particularly good time, and just lost a few positions due to it. But he's now within a second of these two, and if they keep on fighting, I'm sure he'll be within much closer than that very soon. So Marshall 0.3 of a second behind. Slipstream really kicking in. Herbert breaking the draft a little bit. This would be Herbert's best finish of the season. So far of the gold drivers, at least, his best result has been a 9th place. So I think he's barely got a top 10 in the overall standings all season, whereas right now he's looking at a very solid 6th.
Look at that, because Van Buell is coming, and he wants to get at least into 6th place, and he's you know, using the fact that, you know, while Stebler is certainly not slow, but I think Marshall is quicker than him. Being that Marshall has not been able to make the pass, Van Buell is really closing in on these guys. Ferrari versus Audi versus BMW. That's why we love the variety of engine sounds and car designs, which makes GT3 and GT racing in general so beautiful. As we are heading to the final 5 minutes of the race, so we'll have to keep an eye on the clock for when the final lap will start. As they go through Ascari once again. So I shall also use this moment to tell you a couple of names, which are the real names of a couple of sectors, which you might not know. But we will go through the next lap and tell you about that, because you already know about the Rettifilo. So the first chicane has for ages been called the Goodyear chicane, when it had the old, you know, the old. Do you remember the old chicane at Monza, or do you only remember this? Because
I don't think I was alive back with the old chicane, but I do know what it looks like. That was like basically the double chicane, wasn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
and they used to have tires there, tires sitting on the apex, and especially I think it was 1988 when Ferrari scored the 1-2.
Yes, when Senna was taken up by the back marker.
Yeah, everyone was crashing into those tires. So this one here is called Curva Grande, but in reality it's called Curva Biassono. Biassono being the name of a very, very small town close to Monza, as Van Buell to the right, and this is the Variante della Roggia, of course, which is now I think called Seconda Variante, but I'm old, so I call it Variante della Roggia. And you know, the straight between the second Lesmo and the Ascari as a straight, you know, as a name. This one, after this corner, you go to the fantastically named Serraglio, which I have no idea what that means. As you see, Scott Malcolm, this one is the Serraglio. These are some of the not very well-known names of Monza.
Awesome. So this one's definitely called a Ascari, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Which
I mean, it's not really a chicane.
No, and it's a variante. It's not a chicane. It's different.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing, but you get me. You know what I mean. It was, you know, before it was a like high-speed left-hander. It was a crazy corner. Now, of course, with safety measures, it has been changed to a chicane or somewhat. As Van Buell is really trying to make the pass.
Going for the dummy. There's certainly enough space down there. Has he got the braking capabilities? No. Of course, these drivers have ABS, so it's difficult to lock up the tyres. But still kind of possible. And they can... I think they can they turn it off? I'm not quite sure.
ABS?
But I don't really know why you would, T.
ABS, yes, you can turn it off.
Yes.
And traction control as well, as at the same time, once again for third place in the class, Musselwhite still not able to make it stick, and he will have to wait a bit more. Let's go on board with him. So he was able to catch back up to the Wolf. Once again, this is the fight for third place in class. Dries Mujdi is almost sure of the win in his class right now. Fuller has not been able to close the gap.
Sherman's isn't far behind Hessel's, but it looks like Hessel's is going to win the silver class as well.
Now, where is the race leader? We're going to have this lap and one more, I think. So, it's going to be a very, very tricky white flag for these guys. Keep an eye on that, but let's stay on this fight here, because I think that once again, you know, Musselwhite has the pace, but I think that on the straight, on the front stretch, especially under the brakes, the Wolf is really enjoying that BMW advantage.
Yeah, it's been knocking on the door for a while. They've got still Roots, who is 10th place in the Gold Jazz. Looks like he's going to score his second points for the season. I'll take his total up to 3 out of 11 rounds, and it is usually quite strong at Grand Touch as well, so good luck for him there. But here is here's De Wolf and Muscle White, so 2 more laps to go for these two. And he certainly feels like if Muscle White can get the move done, that would surely be decisive. He's closing, looks to the inside into turn 1. De Wolf blocks him off. Muscle White not going to go for the outside this time. He knows that he's got to get the perfect exit. But it's so difficult because the car head always gets onto the power a little bit earlier coming out of that chicane. And he spreads a nice gap, half a second ahead of his rival. As Lord of Moons has to take an emergency pit stop, and that promotes Steve Clay's one position.
Yes, splash and go. And you can see right now the white flag in the air for Martin van Loosener, so 1 more lap to go. As, oh, look at that, Schurman's really pushing hard, almost too hard, but this is for the lead in silver, so, you know, 1 second, 1.5 laps left. See, maybe, you know, Esselstyn is trying to save some fuel. Of course, we don't know. But this is a very, very tricky white flag that has really caught some drivers off guard. Ewan Marshall still defending hard from Van Buel for the 7th place overall and in the gold class. Here we go, final lap starting for these guys as well.
Trying to get into the tired track, so Sebastian Herber trying to pick up a slipstream, but it's not going to happen for him. Here comes Van Buel. So far, that outside line at turn 1 hasn't been particularly effective for anyone, and once again, that is repeated. Marshall almost cutting that first chicane a bit too much. Easy to pick up a slowdown there, but he got through it, and he looks very strong for that position.
Very damaged Team GB Esports Mercedes. Seems like we had a crash for David Fuller. We'll get back onto that. Here comes Van Buel again, but it's not working once again. Good defending as we switch quickly to the fight for Dries Mujdi. Oh, what a surprise! The leader in bronze is in, and David Fuller, despite crashing, is in the lead. But look at his car. His car is absolutely a mess, and he has Thijs Berg and Lee Woodburn. Oh, this is going to be a fantastic finish, Sam.
It really is. Berg has not won a race all season, neither has Woodburn. Fuller has won his fair share, as Martin van Loosener, he's certainly won his fair share. He wins here in the gold category, in the overall, and the championship winner is absolutely dominating this series still. Here is Fuller. Can he somehow
look at this car.
hold on to this race lead? If he can just get through this second chicane, he might be okay. It would certainly help his chances a lot. Berg goes to the outside. There was just no room there apart from grass. Fuller defending down the inside. How beautiful would it be on the bits? He's ever so tight into the corner. Berg almost misses the corner. Fuller gets through it. Woodburn trying to get a move done, and has Berg just ended his chances. Here comes Hessels. He's under pressure from Shermans. 0.2 of a second between the two of them, but Jeremy Hessels wins in the silver class, and that was a very handy win for him. David Fuller, he's got half a lap to go, and, well, he's won a lot of races so far this season, but this would be one of the toughest and one of the best, considering they started from last position overall. And he is struggling massively down the straight. So all he's got to defend is probably his wits. And maybe his good driving ability, it must be said. The escape. And now, surely Woodburn, in fact Berg, seemingly having fuel issues. Woodburn, he started this final lap in 3rd position. He moves alongside to the outside at the Parabolica. Fuller down the inside. Can Woodburn get the run to the line? He's got much better straight line speed. It's going to be a run to the line here. Fuller on the outside, Woodburn on the inside. He pulls ahead Lee Woodburn, and he's going to win in the bronze category for the first time this season.
Mamma mia, what a finish! I mean, how can you not love this championship? I mean, this was fantastic, and I was looking at the I was looking at the timing and I saw David on the penultimate lap struggle and then went off track, and then you see the race leader go in bronze for a quick pit stop. Let's see what happened here. So his car seemed to be relatively okay here, or not. Oh! So whilst all of this was going on, but why do I see Driz Mujdi as the winner? That must be a mistake.
Yeah, I didn't see him as winner. I see him as 4th place.
Okay, let's go through the race results then, and we will sort out that mess, unless we made, because of me, a massive mistake in commentating. But no, I think he's sitting in P19, and certainly I remember Woodburn finishing 16th, so that should be the result for the bronze class. But let's go through the final race results from Monza.
Yes, it's Martin van Liesnoord claiming his, just seeing how many race victories he's got this season. He's won all but 3, and there's been 11 rounds. So he's won, that's his 8th race victory of the season. And it was in dominating start, as we have become accustomed to. 21 seconds clear of Lewis Ward. Tom Methil rounds out the podium. Another good result for him, with Matthias Satige in 4th. There's Bod Boland up 16 places from 21st on the grid. Seb Herber, his best result of the season. Ewan Marshall beat Ruben Van Buell, with Jeremy Hessel's top of the silver jars, only quarter of a second clear of second place driver Nick Sherman's. Gregory Vranks beats Ian Roots, who scores points on the second occasion this season. Stephen DeWolf finished in 3rd place out of the silver jars. Behind that was Stuart Musselwhite and Steve Clace, who had issues right at the start of the race. Nice recovery from him in the end. And then we had that fantastic bronze class victory ending. Lee Woodburn beating David Fuller on the run to the line by 1/10 of a second. Thijs Berg finished in 3rd after fuel issues near the end. Wasn't as big fuel issues as Jais Muji, who was leading for 99% of the race, but having to pit on the final lap to take a splash and dash, and unfortunately he finishes in 4th place. Ronald Moons finished in 5th. Ronald Moons finished in 6th place out of the soldiers, with John Barnes just behind in 21st overall. Then there's Jochen Lennox, Scott Malcolm, and Steve Castrop. The retirees were Benjamin Mears, Andrew Hopley, Marcel van der Linden, William Bush, John McConville, Chris Muretta, Dion Phillips, Ben Thames, Luke Thies, James Hobden, Lee Deemer, Ben Llewellyn, and Davey Witzbols, and also Kevin Boland as well. Witzbols and Boland did not take the start. And so, should be interviews time. Who are we going to have a chat with? We've got a few drivers to have a chat with. I guess first, who we're going to have a chat with is going to have to be Martin van Liesnoord, because after a couple of rounds of not winning, Martin, you're back on the top step of the podium, and well, that was in domination style.
Hi guys. Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it? Felt good.
Absolutely. In qualifying, only 1/10 of a second separated you and Lewis Ward, but in the race it seemed to be more like half a second. Did you maybe put some more effort into the race setup than the qualifying one?
No, definitely not. I just picked a few setups and didn't tweak them actually. It was just yeah, pick them and go. So I actually didn't even drive and practice with a race set, so I didn't know what it would do. But it was a good set. Qualifying second lap, I think, or the second last lap, I messed it up at an off track. I mean, it was at my last attempt. So and I was gaining 4/10, I think, over there. But yeah, I had to give up because of the off track. So
Of course, around this Monza circuit, you've got some very big braking zones. What do you use as braking markers? Do you just use the signs on the side of the circuit with the distance, or do you have a few other kind of markers for you to judge your braking on?
yeah, it depends on what corner you take. I mean, everywhere where you see brake signs, where you see the signs on the side of the road, I use them. But then before Parabolica, you see that green, that green little bit on the left of the track, and I use that as a braking reference. So yeah, it really depends on what corner. Yeah, you've got before Ascari, I use the billboard above it for the braking reference. So yeah, it all depends on what corner you take.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week we head to Brands Hatch, a circuit that many of your fellow drivers in this series have lots of experience around, seeing that it's a track that the series visits every season. Do you have much experience around there?
I have a bit of experience. Most of the experience was in an open wheeler. So let's see how it goes with the GT cars.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you the best of luck for that one. Martin, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I would like to thank you guys for broadcasting. Would like to thank the admins of the league and the race stewards who put the effort in this. And I would also like to thank the team and the sponsors.
Thanks, Martin, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
That was the overall and gold class winner, Martin van Luzenoord. So, Marco, we've got quite an array of drivers to have an interview. I don't think we're going to be able to get through everyone today, but who are we going to have a chat with next?
I want to talk with David Fuller, mostly because we didn't have the chance to celebrate his title win, his vacation. So, hello, David. Welcome to the booth. And I have to say, from here, those looked like a couple of very entertaining final laps.
I think for you guys it was entertaining, but for me it was squeaky bum time. But yeah, it was good. Good couple of laps at the end. Shame I didn't have the car to put up much of a fight.
So basically, you went from desperation to elation because you were back in the lead after your crash, and then once again getting beat. At the very end, your car was so destroyed, you had basically no chance to win. On just pure pace, you did the best you could, but from up here, that was absolutely exciting. And it was not, of course, a race win, but I think you made a great comeback. All race long, starting. Well, what happened in qualifying? Because we saw you try to get some quick times, but in the end, you didn't record a valid lap time, no?
The qualifying was me practicing. I have had no practice since my holidays. I've been too busy, so I thought I'd get on, jump in the quali session, and just make sure that the wheel and pedals work. To be honest, so me driving in practice qualifying was literally just to make sure that everything was working okay. So the plan was to start from the back. Obviously, I didn't want to put my car somewhere where I didn't really have the pace. So I just thought work my way from the back and try and build up my pace that way, which seemed to work to a degree.
So you have the bronze title already in the bag. One more race left, but allow me to ask you about what's coming up in the next few months for you. Will you still be racing in this series?
I'm gonna miss next week because I've got to go away for work, unfortunately. Which is probably the only reason why I've joined this interview room, because that was a complete shambles. But yeah, looking forward to the next series. I'm not sure what they'll do for which class I'll be in, because I don't really have time to do official iRacing races, so my iRating's pretty low. So yeah, looking forward to if they put us in silver or gold, I'm not sure. And then battling with some of the other guys. I quite enjoyed some of the battles that I've had with Davey and Steve Clays. So hopefully I'm in with those two boys. But yeah, as for the team, Team GB Esports, we're basically continue to do our endurance races, weekly VRS ones, and we also participate in the special events. We had some success in the last few races as well. We've had a podium in the Watkins 6 hours, and me and a couple of the other guys won the Le Mans. The split 9, I think, in the LMP ones. So yeah, just looking forward to doing some more endurance races and yeah, hopefully get some more practice in for next series.
Well, David, thank you very much once again. Congratulations on the title, a fantastic season. And before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, you guys, the broadcast is brilliant. I watch them back. I might not watch this one back though. A bit embarrassing, depending on what you caught. Um, yeah, so you guys, Ian, for running the whole thing. I received the trophy today. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely made up with that. Even the wife was quite shocked at the quality of the trophy. So yeah, top job from Ian and the guys. And then just Team GB Esports. I think John was in the race. He got a bit unlucky, ended up behind us, where he has much better pace than me. So I would like to see him doing well. And yeah, that's it really.
Thank you, David. Congratulations once again, and we shall catch you next season.
Yeah, I might not be in the interview bit, but I'll be here. Catch us
Thanks,
later.
man. Thank you. Congratulations once again. This was David Fuller, second, just by an inch, in a very exciting bronze class finish, and of course the bronze class champion in the end. Look at the list of drivers, Sam. So you have certainly a lot to choose from.
Yes. Well, of course, a lot of people want to hear from Lewis Ward. He's still not in. So,
Yeah.
Lewis, fan club, if
Can
I
I
had a
say
fan
something
club,
terrible?
oh, okay.
Get in there, Lewis. Come on. Okay. Okay, I will shut up for the next
Oh,
5 minutes.
well, rightly so. We will have a chat with Seb Herbuer because Seb got his best results of the season, sixth place overall. Seb, I believe your best result before this was about ninth place, so you must be delighted with that.
Yes, it was an awesome race. I had so much fun.
Yeah, you guys just seem to be so close. It was probably Metherall, Detige, Boland, Marshall, Van Buell, and yourself, along with Van der Linden. You guys were just so evenly matched. It looked like a fantastic battle.
Yeah, most of the time I was with behind Matthias Detisch and in front of Ruben van Biol. And I was kind of trying to get away from Ruben because I knew he was pretty fast. And at the same time trying to catch Matthias, who was battling Marcel van der Linden. So I had some good chances there, but couldn't make a pass happen. Yeah, but overall it was a really, really sweaty race. And I
Yeah,
had lots of fun.
definitely. During the pit stops, I think you gained a couple of positions. Certainly, you got past Ruben Van Buell. Was that because maybe you were able to save a little bit of fuel whilst in the slipstream?
Actually, I got passed by Bot Boland in the pit stops, and Ewan Marshall almost passed me. I overfueled by about 2 laps, so I
Ah,
didn't
right.
gain anything.
I
I actually
well,
lost one place.
ah, so yeah, still sixth position in the end. And next up, we head to Brands Hatch. What will be your aim for that one? Will it be to replicate this result or just to score more points?
um, my aim is always to get top 10, and usually I'm on P11 when I finish. That's sort of my finishing position. I don't know why, but I finished quite a lot of races in P11 this season. But I'm always aiming for a top 10 finish, so this will be my goal for Brands Hatch too.
Yeah, absolutely. Along with Ian Roots, you guys are extremely good at finishing 11th and 12th.
Yeah,
But maybe they need to extend the point scoring a little bit next season. I don't know. But certainly very well done today, Seb, with that sixth place. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
yeah, the whole team of Sim Racers World, Ian especially, and you guys for doing the broadcast. It's awesome as always. And if you're watching, Mike, hi. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Seb, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, bye.
So that was Seb Herbro there, finishing in sixth position today for Sim Racers World. Marco? Well, there's
Hmm.
still a lot of drivers, unfortunately. But who else are we going to talk with?
I'm going to have a chat with Tom Methel, who finished in third position. So, Tom, another good result for you, and you were able to keep the Meraki flag flying high. I'm looking, scrolling through the results. You know, coming from the high of Mosport, seems like you guys were into a little bit more trouble this week, but you can get away with a good podium, so I think you should be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to thank for Andy for that podium because the mess I made of the first lap, and he was just backing the field up purposely just so he was sacrificing himself so I could get the podium so we could push on in the team championship. I'm not sure whether we've won this race or whether it will go down to the next race, but we'll have to see. But nah, that podium, I owe all that to Andy.
And I mean, out of all the teams, and this is with no disrespect to all the other teams because everyone is working hard. I'm noticing that you guys seem to be like the most closely knit unit, in the championship, and you are always very similar in pace. We talked about this last week as well, but you really seem to be working together, and that is, hopefully and certainly being then reflected in the team standings.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're all of a very similar pace. I mean, we're a very small team as well. There's only one extra guy other than the 5 you see here. So, and he's on our pace as well. So, being the same sort of pace helps because we can bounce ideas off each other. It's not as if we're trying to compensate for somebody being 2 seconds a lap slower or faster. So, pays to keep a closer knit unit sometimes.
Next week it's Brands Hatch, final race of the season, 75 minutes, completely different racetrack compared to Monza. Passing will be at a premium, and I think once again qualifying will be very important. What are your thoughts about that final round of the season and the fact that the race is a little bit longer?
Well, my experience of the Mercedes this season, only that it's 10 kilos, but it does make quite a big difference on tyres. I mean, you could see my lap times today; they were dropping off lap after lap towards the end. So, 75 minutes around Brands is going to be touch and go whether it's worth taking tyres at the pit stop or not, to be honest. But we'll see how it goes. I'm not looking forward to it in all honesty, but we'll see.
Tom, thank you very much. Congratulations for the podium. And would you like to give a shout out to anyone?
Yeah, Andy, pretty much. Like I say, he gifted me that, and then all the guys as well. Top work all season. Ian, Simracersworld, and you guys for the broadcast.
Thanks, Tom, and we shall catch you next week. Once again, congratulations for the podium.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
And that was Tom Methrol. Who shall we get next, Sam?
We will have a chat with... We'll have a chat with Ian Rees because Ian has scored points for the second time this season. A 10th position. Honestly, I'm fist pumping right now. I must be said. 10th place in, and well, it was never in doubt after that start. What happened on that start?
Well, I've looked at the replay a couple of times, and it's all a bit of a mess, to be honest. I don't know what the trigger was, but I know what the end result was, and that was Steve Clays going 90 degrees across the track with John Barnes in front of me. I didn't have anywhere to go, which meant that everybody on the right-hand side of the grid just had a clear track. So I went from 13th, I think my qualifying position was, to 26th at the end of lap 1. I had the pace as well. Looking at lap times, I think I had lap times good enough in the first half of the race anyway, before the pit stop, good enough for top 6. So gutted again, but I decided to stop early. I don't know if you guys picked that up. I was the first to stop, I think. I stopped early because I knew I was going to come out in clear air. I think I came out 40 seconds ahead of Martin in the lead, and they were 20 seconds in front of me, the last place guys. So I just got my head down, and I think I jumped 8 or 9 people in the pit stop phase. Came out right behind Stephen DeWolf. So I came out roughly where I qualified. I managed to go by him after a tremendous battle with him for God knows how many laps. But yeah, I'm really pleased with that result. Good result, really, for me.
Yeah, you should absolutely be pleased with that one because, well, next week we head to Brands Hatch, and I guess if you use strategy to your advantage today, you're going to have to use strategy to your advantage at Brands Hatch as well because that's going to be a tough track to overtake.
Yeah, I don't think the overtaking is going to be an issue. As you guys are probably aware, final round of the season is always 75 minutes. I think everybody is going to be struggling with tyres. So it's going to be a tyre war. So it's those that can look after their tyres the best are going to get the best results. I think the BMWs will go very well there. That's a BMW track for sure. As you rightly said, it's hard to overtake, but tyre wear is going to be critical. So pressure, temperature, track temperature is going to be very critical for everyone. But looking forward to it. Final round of the season, final bash. Yeah, it's been a good season. Been some good racing this season for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few more interviews to get through, Ian. So sorry
Yep.
for cutting
No,
this one
that's
a bit
fine.
short. But is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, rather than do what I normally do, very quickly, I just want to say absolutely fantastic to my team tonight. Simracersworld drivers, I think we finished, all of us bar one finished, and we were all inside the top 14. So incredibly well driven by everybody tonight. I think that's our best collective result of the season. So really proud of the guys tonight. So yeah, just a big shout out for the team.
Thanks, Ian, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, take care. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut this down to just one more interview. And Marco, do you want to take this one or shall I?
Take it away.
Okay. I will. We're going to have a chat with. I won't be decisive here. We will have a chat with Theisberg actually because it was ever so close to winning that bronze class. I imagine with one lap to go, Thais, you were thinking this has really opened up for me, but in the end, that last lap, were you just struggling with fuel in the end?
Yeah, I just had 0.2 liters left, so I had to coast the last lap. Unfortunately, because P1 was in it, I think. So yeah, too bad.
You must have been super excited when you saw the race leader come into the pits and also the next race leader crashing into the wall. But still, a really good battle with Lee Woodburn for the whole race.
Woodburn. Yeah, that was a good battle indeed. But to say I was excited to see David Fuller crash, no, not really. I want to beat him in racing, but.
Well, next week we head to Brands Hatch, quite a different circuit to this one. What are your aims for that one? Do you think you can maybe take your first win of the season there?
Maybe if David and Ben Taines don't compete, maybe.
Well, I certainly wish you the best of luck for that one. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
The SRW guys for organizing everything, and especially Stephen de Wolf for being my mentor a little bit. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Well, thank
And
you very much.
and you guys, of course.
Thank you very much, guys. And we'll see you next week.
Next week, definitely. Bye.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the interview short there. We'll try to do every interview next week. But unfortunately, today we're just going to have to miss the final couple. Of course, later on in the week for Apex Racing TV, we've got the BSRTC Pro Series tomorrow. We've also got the iRacing Le Mans Series as well on Friday, along with plenty of other series, of course, starting next week as well. And also, of course, if you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, and also like our Facebook page as well. But for now, from me and also from Marco, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you next time.